They're like, you are too loud.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute, man. We ain't even
I'm
gonna edit it though. I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna remember this because I'm gonna be like, but okay. Hey, how you doing, man? It's another episode of It Factor. We in a different location today. I'm actually on the porch, man. But we got a great guest for you today, man. How you doing today? Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Maya Bello. I'm a software engineer, and yeah, super happy to be here.
Okay, great, man. So, man, what led you, to computer science field?
Yeah, so that part was actually really random how I got into computer science.
Mhm.
So when I think back to high school, my favorite subjects were always the ones where my friends were in that class, the teacher was lit, and it was just like a good time. Like my environment was so important to me. So it didn't matter if I was in like history class or English or math, like as long as the people were good, that was my favorite class. So picking a major was hard for me because I had so many different interests. So to different colleges, I actually chose different majors. But then the college I ended up going to, I chose computer science, but that was so random. I had never written code before.
Okay, cool, man. So, I would say, so what made you want to make, your YouTube channel to, talk about, tech and kind of the struggles? Because I have been through your YouTube channel. I'll be like, hey, I like that, man. That's cool. Like some of the
No.
things you're doing, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like it was like a whole bunch of different reasons. So first, so I grew up in the Bay Area, and that's like a pretty like diverse, area. But then the school I went to was at the time less than 1% Black. So like I tell people I didn't really feel like the other or like a minority until I was in that environment. Because like I said, like me and my friends, if stuff happened, we just laughed it off.
Right. Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah. Yeah, I get
yeah,
you. I get you. I'm with you on that, man. Even me attending the HBCU, I also attended Northeastern University in Boston. That was culture shock for me because I'm from
yeah,
South Georgia. I'm from Fort Valley, Georgia, man. I don't know if you know where that's located, but it's like an hour and a half away from Atlanta, Georgia, where I live now. And to say that, like, going to Boston was a big change, it was like, what I'm saying, other races, white people, experiencing racism down here is way different from experiencing racism up there. So,
that part.
but it's
Yeah.
like I just brush it off, like, oh man, look, I'm still gonna beat you in the class. I'm still gonna get the job. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
exactly that. Culture shock is the perfect word for it.
mhm.
So I think throughout my experience, so I was like the only Black person in like 400 plus classes, and it was like not a good experience for me. But then later, a freshman came in when I was a junior. Her name was also Maya. She studied computer science, and we just hit it off.
Oh man,
And
that's
then I was
crazy.
thinking about like all the people at different schools that don't have that. At least it's that one person. So I kind of wanted to start the channel so that people could see me and just know that like I'm 100% rooting for you, like you can do this, and show like representation and also expose people to this as well.
Yeah, I done the same, man. That's why I started mine too. I was just like, let me start this because I don't see it as much, and I was like, let me go ahead and see what people I can pull on it, and see
Yeah,
what kind of different perspectives I can get on it. And it's been growing, and I'm just being positive about it, and like I'm knowing that it's to help other people. So that's kind of what
exactly.
that was drives me a lot. So man, how was it attending UC San Diego? How was your school?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to start with the positives. So I'm like, let's think of some of the positives. I mean, if I could redo the whole experience, I would still like attend UCSD and go through that whole college experience just because, I am where I am now because of it, like going through all those steps. But it was really tough. Like just that whole environment. Like now I just like, even when I think of San Diego, people are like, I'm taking a trip to San Diego. I'm like, have fun. I'm gonna stay right here just because I just remember it was a lot of like uh, so my first year I wasn't doing as well. So I really had to like, but I was in clubs, like I was in like the Black Student Union, I was in like the National Society of Black Engineers, like, I was in those clubs because I liked them. But then I had to make the switch. I had to quit those clubs and really just like be on my own and just like study.
Yeah,
Like I,
round it up.
yeah, yes, hard work really does pay off. So when I think of UCSD, I just remember myself just working, just grinding, and it was tough.
So I would say, how is it being a black woman and the software engineering at your company? How is that?
Oh, at my company, just in like in general when it comes to stuff, it's hard because like in tech, if you're like a woman and if you're part of like if you're black, Latino, like whatever, like you're, like a double minority. So like sometimes things go on and you're like, I wonder if it's because I'm black or I'm a woman that you're like treating me like this right now.
Mm-hmm.
What you think about sometimes. But I would say my company is pretty good when it comes to like women in tech and like really trying to like work on that and increasing that. So that was one of the things I looked for too. I was like, I want a company with a great culture just because my college culture was not for me.
I got
So yeah, that's what something I looked into.
you. I like that though, because you grinded through school, even though it wasn't for you. You still was like, hey, still know what I'm here for. I still got
Yeah.
to do this, man. And I would say that probably helps you today too. When something like comes up, you like, hey, I done been through this type of thing before. I can go ahead and I can go ahead and kick it out. I'll be the same way, man.
Yeah, exactly. I can do anything, period. Like you can't tell me nothing.
So, what would you say? What changes are need to be at school or in the field to make it feel more comfortable or accepting?
Yeah, man, so many different changes need to happen. So I what I like to do, so I volunteer with an organization called Street Code, and they help like Black and Latino, not only youth, but all the way to like adulthood. It helps them like with entrepreneurship, coding, design. So I really think it starts at that age, like exposing people to, tech and like careers in tech. Like I talk to other people who are Black and engineers, and like they were just like the way they came into this is not really like as random as I did, but it's like they weren't exposed to it. They weren't the kids making computers, building computers when they were 12 years old, or a lot of people, their parents were software engineers, so they got to like pass that down. So I really think it's about exposure at first, at like all different ages. It's what's needed. So giving people the resources. So for example, if you want to code, you need a laptop, laptop and Wi-Fi. And if you don't have that, then that's already like a barrier to getting in this. So I believe that's one thing. And then also like my school did have AP computer science. That's another way that people are exposed to computer science. So I
Right.
think that's needed. And then also I think companies need to look at like not only getting more like Black engineers and diverse applicants, but then also retaining them, because you can't make all these efforts, but then when they get here, they're not supported, or, they're feeling all these microaggressions and stuff like that. So I think there's so many different things at all different levels that like definitely need to change.
It do. It does, man. So that leads on to the next question. So, what do you do as a software engineer? Like, what do you do every day? I'm asking as if I'm not a developer. If we gonna do
Yeah.
the close things, same. So,
Yeah, so I work on a web application. So, like, what we do is I was on a team where we were kind of bringing a new feature or a new service to our web app. So, it was kind of like working for a startup because we had to build the whole thing from scratch, which I actually really liked. I loved like just building new features, new pages.
mhm.
So, for the first year, I did a lot of front end development. So, that required like using JavaScript and React to like, build a lot of the experiences that the user saw.
Right.
And then, yeah, I think a lot of people too think software engineering is not a lot of collaboration, but it definitely is.
It's a lot.
The like, yes,
It's a lot of
exactly.
work.
Like introverts,
You gotta
like
talk to so many people. You're like, hey man, look, I need you to help me with this. And then so many people that can hold you up from not doing your work. It's like at work every day, I'd be like, hey man, look, this week could have went way more smooth. If you just showed me how. Oh, this how you do it? Okay, this how I set this up. There's so many people you have to go through to get certain things done.
yeah,
People don't know.
like someone could have worked on some code, but maybe they didn't document it. So you have to go talk to them to figure out how their code works.
Don't let
So
them have
like
left the company.
yeah. And then like keeping everyone on the same page for a project is way harder than it seems.
You're right.
Like it is crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, man, what are some of your future goals, man? What do you have planned?
Yeah, that's always such a hard question for me to answer because I'm really just taking it day by day. But I know no matter what, I want to somehow continue in increasing diversity in tech and also like exposing people to careers in tech. So
Okay.
I know that's going to be at the heart of it, but I just don't know the other stuff.
So would you say that's your it factor? That's why you do what you do?
Oh, I like that it factor. Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
like
The trademark right there.
I love it that, and it was so smooth. I was like, oh, nice. Everything's coming together. But yeah, I just remember how I felt when I was like going through college and learning how to code. And I really just don't want other people to feel that way. So I feel like this can be like my contribution is that like, yeah, I just have that empathy, and yeah, I just want people to know that like our minds are so powerful. If you like truly believe in something, like you can achieve that goal. And just letting people know that like the path to success is not some super straightforward straight line.
It's
It's
all
going to
wicked
have a lot of
big.
twists and yes, exactly. But people make it seem like, especially when you're a minority, the second you have that little bump, they're like telling you to quit. This
Mhm.
isn't for you, like trying to get you off your course. So I
Yeah,
just want to
for
show
you to
people like,
figure out. And people don't know that's for you to figure out. You'll know
yeah,
when it's not for you, or not even not for you. I get to the point where I'm studying to be a college professor, and
yeah,
I'm like, in doing that, it's like, yeah, I'm a tech guy, but one day I'm gonna step away from this. Need to be next month or next year or the year after that. It's like one day I am gonna step away from it, but I'm glad I'm building up this show to not fully let it go. I can still help people out.
exactly.
People think once you're done with something, you're gonna be, oh, I'm just gonna set it down, never gonna do it again. It's like that's not what I went to school for, and it's not only just for me. It's for to help the next person. So that's kind of how why I do what I do, and I love to ask that question because a lot of people they like cringe when you ask like, "Hey man, I don't know what my impact is." I'm like, "Hey, well, figure it out, man. We can figure this thing out together. But it takes time to know what you want to do. So
Yeah, exactly. And then like, you know, part of being like humans and stuff like that is that we grow. Like your it factor today could be different 5 years from now, but like really just believing in what you got at that moment is important.
right, it's always gonna change. So my question, man. So do you have any questions for me?
Oh wow. Yeah. So you talked about why you started this, but like what was your journey into tech?
My journey into tech, man, I wasn't like you say before. I wasn't a kid. I was a kid that took my PS2 apart and I couldn't put it back together. So my mom was like, "She's not buying another." One," You know, and I was like, "Darn, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to put it together." But time went on. I went to high school. I played sports. I played football at a high level, and I kind of wanted to know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do once I went to school, but I happened to be in this STEM program where we would go to NASA and to go to Auburn, Georgia Tech, Tuskegee, different schools like that in the South. And I would say, hey, this seems like a good school. And you'll see what major some of the people you get to shadow a person and get to learn what they do on a daily basis. And I was seeing they was working with computers. And I
Yeah.
told my story about the PS2. The dude's like, hey, this would be good for you. You can figure it out. And he's like, it's coding. And you might not like it right now, but you're going to figure it out. So once I went to school, I was like, you know what? I'm a major in computer science and computer engineering. I'm going to see how it goes. And it went hard at first. To be honest with you, it
Yeah.
was hard. Like it was hard, hard, hard because I didn't have that foundation before. Like you said, I didn't have a
Yeah.
software developer at home telling me what to do. But I did have a family member that works in computer science that was always backing me,
Yeah.
like, "Hey, bro, like this is what you do. This is how you do it. I'm gonna have you a job. You just need to make the grades." So that was a
I love
blessing
that.
to learn how to do that. But once I got into it, I was like, okay. Once I started passing classes, I was like, cool, man, this is
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
Cool. But I had a couple, midterms where I was like, am I gonna fail this class? What's gonna happen? And then it pulls out.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a B. Oh, I got a B. But over time, I learned. I'm like, it's not even about the grade. It's about the experience you get from the class and what can I take from this class to go on. Because my degree ain't gonna say no. You know, it ain't gonna say no grade on there or when I finish.
Facts.
All
I
they gonna
like
say is
that.
let me finish. And I'm like, okay, cool.
So true. I'm
So
gonna use that.
so yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's the reason why how I got into computer science. The older I get, and the more I have been in it now, it's like, oh, okay, I think I did the right thing. It's the right path. I think.
Yeah.
You know?
I am
I'm
so
blessed to be where I am. That's what I
yeah.
was.
I'm so happy I fell into this. Like it was I tell people the best mistake I
Ever
have
made.
ever made. Just because tech is really the future. Like
Yeah.
I think soon they're gonna have like coding in like schools, like you know how you take math, science. I think coding
They
is
gonna
gonna
write
be
the code.
fast as
Gonna
well.
throw it in there with math. Like, hey, this how you gonna do it. So
Yeah,
I'm ready to see that. And I'm
yeah.
glad to be on the front end of it. Like, okay, I know a little something about it. You know,
Right?
a little
It's
something
so
back in my day. You know.
And like a lot of entrepreneurs as well, they come from like computer science or tech backgrounds, just because we have the ability to like make something, we want something out in the world, we can do that. I think that's so powerful.
You're right, man. So with that, man, I would say, that pretty much the show. Do you have any shout outs? Anything you would like to shout out?
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to shout out my YouTube channel that we talked about, Maya Bello. So it's just spelled like my name, Maya, and then space Bello. And then my Instagram, TikTok is Maya underscore loves underscore code. So definitely go check that out. We were talking about like school and stuff, and one of my most popular videos is me posting my grades. So if you're interested in that struggle, definitely go check those platforms out. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, man. I look forward to working with you more in the future, man, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing.
Thank you. You too.